All right, so in the last video, we introduced you to how to graph the equation y equals mx plus b. John Hinchy did that, and he did an awesome sauce job on that. Thank you again, John. In this video, there's no notes. This is just me showing you your new best friend. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the TI-84. It slices, dices, and julienne fries, and I don't even know what julienne fries means. I just heard that before on an infomercial. But the TI-84 really is an awesome tool. There are a bunch of different things for you to see up here. I'm not even going to get into everything. The only thing that you need to know is basically how to turn it on and your basic numbers and your division and all these things. Those are some very basic things that you already probably understand. Now, what I do want to show you is how to do two things. One, how to reset your calculator's memory. This is a very important skill. And two, how to put an equation in your calculator and graph it. That is also an important skill. So first off, when you get a calculator and you turn it on, this is good habit, especially if you've never used this calculator before. There is this thing that says a second button. This right here, when you press it, it allows you to use any of the things written in yellow. And what we want to do right now is go second, and we're going to hit this MEM button. All right, so it's the plus, and it goes, that is our second memory. And what we want to do is ignore all this stuff, but we want to go down to 7, which is reset. Okay, and then we want to reset all RAM. What this does is it's going to clear this calculator out of anything that anybody else has done before, whether they've done some setting changes, and it just restores it to factory default, which was what we want. So we're just going to go to reset by pressing the number 2, and it does its thing. So anything that may have been on this calculator is now gone, which is a good thing. All right, so now that we know how to reset our calculator, and believe me, this is imperative of a thing to know, I want to show you how to graph an equation. Well, this button right here is our y equals button, which is basically where we're going to put our y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to hit that button. And let's say I want to put in the equation 3x plus 1. Well, all right, all I have to do is type in the number 3, and then you see where it says this X button, and there's a bunch of other little things right there. Don't worry about what the other things mean for now. It doesn't mean anything to you, but there's your X button, so we press it. And so we have 3x, and then we do our plus 1. And that's it. You've plugged this equation into your calculator. Now your job is to simply graph it. And guess what? There is a button that says graph. Hit graph. And it's just graphed it for you. This is what your graph should look like on your calculator. And why this is so great is that you can actually do some other things with it, such as a button that says trace. So let's hit that button. And it gives you a little flashy thing right in the middle. And if you use your arrow, notice what's happening here. I have X and Y. This X is 0 and the Y is 1, which makes sense because that's our Y-intercept. And if we move our arrow, it actually will, as we move, we can tell what happens when X is 1.7, blah, blah, blah. That means that Y is going to be 6 point blah, blah, blah. And we can kind of go up and down this thing. But what if I want to know a certain number? What happens if I want to know when X is 5? Well, all I have to do is type in 5. X equals 5, and then hit enter. And it tells me when X is 5, Y is 16. So this is just a very useful skill. And we can use our zoom function to zoom in, zoom out. I'll let you play around with that. It kind of helps you out. But the one thing that is always good is Z standard. And Z standard is basically the same thing that you start with. All right, so that's the basic rules of how to graph it. I'm not going to go in a lot more detail in this video because you don't need to know more than how to plug it into y equals and how to trace it and how to graph it basically. Nothing more is needed. And that's it for this video. Again, no notes, but these are some skills that I want you to pick up because you are going to be using your calculator very soon. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.